counting cats, but I didn't. Not counting cats. I saw Rodeo's bookshelf a little ways away, so I scooted Ivan down off me and ambled over to take a look. I knelt down, squinting at the titles, hoping something would grab me. The Little Prince was pretty great, but I'd read that plenty already. Same with The Old Man and the Sea and I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Ivan sidled up beside me, rubbing on my hip, tail held high. I eyed a tattered paperback book of poetry by Khalil Gibran. I'd read some of it and dug it enough, but I wasn't sure I was in the mood for poetry just right then. I went to grab it anyway, but as I did, Ivan rubbed hard on my elbow with his chin and my hand went crooked, and instead of grabbing the book, I knocked it back. It fell with a muffled thump into the darkness between the shelf and the wall of the bus. "Crud," I said, leaning forward and turning sideways to reach blindly with one hand behind the shelf. Ivan came in close to my face, purring. "Stay out of this, cat," I said, grunting. My fingers brushed against what I was pretty sure was the spine of the book, and I stuck my tongue out and stretched farther and grabbed, but my fingers didn't close around a book. It was something else. It had corners and edges, but it was bigger and heavier than a paperback book. I gripped it harder and pulled it up just before it slipped from my fingers with a solid thud. I sat back on my knees and slid the thing toward me into the light. It was a box that looked like a briefcase without a handle, made of dark wood, with tarnished metal at the corners. Just small enough to fit in that hidden space behind the shelf, but big enough that Ivan could have curled up inside it if it was open, which I'm sure is 100% what he would have tried to do. I sat there for a second, looking at that box. It had a feeling to it. It felt secret. It felt hidden. It felt important. It felt, to be honest, like a once upon a time. And there was this fact. Jaeger was not that big, and it had been my home for 5 years. I'd lived and breathed and slept and woke and eaten and laughed and cried in the cozy space between those 4 walls. And I'd never seen that box before. So, it was secret. It was hidden. And it sure as heck wasn't my secret, which meant it had to be Rodeo's. And Rodeo is a lot of things, but Secret Keeper ain't really one of them. He was the type to brag about how productive a trip to the bathroom had been. What kind of secret would a fella like that keep from a girl like me? Ivan rubbed his chin against the corner of the box, the way cats do. "Shoo," I said, but my heart wasn't in it. I spun that box around and found 2 latches, snapped shut. I swallowed. Opening up those latches was surely a step there'd be no coming back from. Funny how life does that sometimes. Gives you a little warning, whispers a little promise. "What do you think, Ivan?" I asked in a hushed voice. "Meow," Ivan said. He's not a big talker. "Okay," I said. I bit my lip. "If you say so." I snapped open one of the latches. Ivan's ears perked at the click. Holding my breath, I undid the second one. The box sat there. One big, unanswered question. All that was left was to lift the lid. I took hold of the dusty wood with both hands, and I raised it up. The soft yellow glow of the Christmas lights filtered down into the box. The box was mostly full, and what it was mostly full of was gritty gray dust. I frowned for just a second. It took me a second to realize it wasn't dust in the secret box. It was ash. What in? I started to whisper, but then it hit me, and I knew. I just knew. Goosebumps sprang up on my arms. A lump grew dull and sharp at the same time in my throat. I blinked. Then again,